account of a call between Virginia House members and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Here's a part of it. Quote, the most dramatic idea they discussed, which would involve an unusual gambit to replace the entire state Supreme Court with a goal of reinstating their gerrymandered map, drew mixed reactions on the call. Oh boy, that leaked? So they can't even all agree on this. The desperate move. 7 justices sit on Virginia's Supreme Court with staggered terms stretching years into the future. Lowering the retirement age would force vacancies, opening the door to refill the bench. The headline for Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley's op-ed is this: Angry left plots to purge Virginia's high court. He was on Fox last hour.
These radical ideas are nothing new, but I think that the public needs to understand that many of these same voices have been saying publicly that they will pack the Supreme Court as well. As soon as
violated the state constitution, so it doesn't matter how the vote went. If you had lost or won this, doesn't matter. It was null and void from the very beginning. But of course, the reaction to it is going to be very heated. I think that's fair to say.
It's heated, but also we're seeing that there's a lot of concern, right? Look at these headlines or these reactions from different anonymous House Democrats. There's expletives, but this one's good. Democrats now have to pitch a perfect game. I mean, that's kind of true right now. They were really counting on this not falling into place like this for the Republicans, which really sets the Republicans up, Shannon, they thought they were going to have a lot of headwinds, especially because the war and the gas prices. But if President Trump wraps this war up, prices start to go in a downward direction. His other economic numbers are pretty darn strong. And now he might get these extra seats. I mean,
there's a better chance of me sprouting wings and flying out of that window over there than the United States Supreme Court dealing with this in any way, because this is a state Supreme Court ruling on a state constitution. The U.S. Supreme Court doesn't deal with these kinds of things, number one. Number two, the freak out in Virginia has been so extreme. You even have Democrats over there who are saying they want to effectively politically decapitate the entire Virginia Supreme Court by putting an age limit of 54 so they can get rid of every existing justice and install people who will promise to rule a certain way on a certain case. They went from, this is just a temporary map thing, to let's burn down the entire Virginia Supreme Court in about 2 seconds over there in Virginia, which tells you all you need to know about just how power hungry and corrupt the Democrats are in Virginia. This is not going to work at the U.S. Supreme Court. And this whole project of maximum warfare by Hakeem Jeffries is completely blown up in their face.
But a blue state does it, and now it's being struck down as being unconstitutional. Now, this proposal was reported by the New York Times earlier today, so as of right now, there's no official plan to do this. But I have to say, if they don't do this, you have to ask the question, why would you not? Democrats are always really quick to talk about how powerless they are right now and how they just can't do anything, and they don't have the ability to fight back against what's going on with MAGA right now. But here is a direct example of where they have power to do something, and yet they are debating it versus just doing it. I have to say, a real opposition party wouldn't be debating this. They would be enacting it, because it's very obvious what MAGA is doing to this country, what Republicans are doing to this country. And if you have the ability to fight back on some level and you're not doing it, you are complicit in what's happening. Something to remember when you're voting in your primary elections coming up in the next few months.
In a period of time, we do have these structural problems that need to be addressed. We've got to, for instance, make sure we pass the John Robert Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act so we can end the era of voter suppression in the United States of America once and for all. We have to end Citizens United, dramatically reform our campaign finance laws to stop the ability of these deep-pocketed special interests to intervene. And we are going to have to explore massive judicial reform, state by state, and at the federal level, and everything should be on the table as far as I'm concerned.
This was a utter, complete humiliation for Hakeem Jeffries and Virginia Democrats. They just burned $70 million, $10 million of taxpayer money, $70 million in campaign funds. And listen, if they had just paid attention to the Attorney General's opinion I issued last fall saying this is completely unconstitutional under the Virginia Constitution, And so, no, the Supreme Court, this is nothing but window dressing for them to try to save face with their donors. This is going to get laughed out by the Supreme Court. This is a last desperate gasp. But now what they're trying to do, as you reported, you have this scheme where they essentially want to unconstitutionally remove justices in Virginia. The Constitution of Virginia says you can only remove justices by impeachment in Virginia. In this case, by arbitrarily lowering the retirement age. It is an unconscionable scheme. It shows how little on the rule of law that they've been paying attention to just to pursue power.
Democrats think that Democrats aren't doing enough. That's their thought. And for those of you guys that are not familiar with the John Lewis or the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, basically what the bill is supposed to do, or what it's aiming to do, is prevent racial discrimination in voting. I think that's already been solved. Increase federal oversight of states with histories of voter right violations. Make it easier for the federal government to challenge voting laws viewed as discriminatory. So basically, they want more government, and they want states to have less say in their own elections, essentially, is what they want. And they want to be able to control each state's ability to run their own elections ultimately. But it doesn't say anything about making sure that the elections are free and fair by making sure that everybody has the ability that is voting can vote by showing an identification, which you would think that would be a part of this bill, right? You would think it would be, but it's not.
Hakeem Jeffries, does anyone ever notice he looks like he's got dead eyes? Like there's no
demon eyes.
Yeah, there's no soul behind his eyes, but that's just my
demon
eyes.
eyes.
Yeah, and he demonizes everybody. But again, it's like I said before, if they don't get their way, they take their ball and they want to go home because they just don't like the rules anymore. This is something that was going to blow up in their face in the very beginning. It was unconstitutional. I don't know why they championed it like it was the next best thing that ever happened. But ironically, if you look at a map of the Northeast, how many Republicans are being disenfranchised up in that area because of the way the maps are drawn? That's considered fair. But Virginia is racism. The thing is, people are getting so, I don't use the word fatigue, but they're getting so sick of the word, everything has to be racism. It's lost its meaning. It has no meaning anymore. To keep on calling everything that you don't like blatant racism, you know what? It's enough already.
Amen.
You know, if a salesperson wants to sell you their product, define why it's so much better than the other person's product. Give me a politician that's going to tell me all the things they're going to do as opposed to all the things the other guy's not doing. You know, all the horrible things that the Republicans are doing. Well, what are you going to do? You've had all these years now. How much money did Kamala Harris blow through? $1 billion?
Over $1 billion.
Over $1 billion, and then left with $600,000 in debt. I mean, come on, people. It's not a question of messaging. It's a question of who's giving the message. And there's nothing coming out of these people's mouth except vile vitriol and venom. It's just horrible. I mean, give me something I can sink my teeth into besides racism every time. As the one, I mean, it looks like this panel looks like, you know, the Virginia district map right now. That's what she wanted. You know, well, guess what? This is not what people wanted. It's not going to work that way.
It's really unfortunate because you do have people out there that believe that the Democrat Party is right, you know, in this, in just destroying, you know, the infrastructure that has, you know, been there and implemented for quite some time. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the state Supreme Court justices in Virginia, I believe they're all liberal.
They're all Democrats.
You know, so it's like, oh, so those aren't the good Democrats. You want to throw them out and
Yes, they are liberal, but when you don't do what they want you to do, then you aren't trying to fight against Donald Trump. When you actually do what the Constitution actually says, then it's not democracy, which it's not. So at the end of the day, Hakeem Jeffries wants to get in power. He thinks that when Democrats take back the House, he's going to be the speaker. So he's only concerned with that. He's not actually concerned with the people's right to vote. And then when you look at it, every one of the places here on the East Coast that you can think about is gerrymandered to the max. I heard Cloudy Hostin the other day say, okay, well, let's go ahead and
Cloudy
do
Hostin.
to Maryland, do New York. Let's go ahead. I'm like, what else are you going to do in Maryland? Like the base, the military base? Because other than that, it's all Democratic. So I don't I don't understand where they're trying to go with this, but it seems to have everything to do with just power. There's nothing there that suggests that this would be for the people, because I don't understand how disenfranchisement only works for the Democrats. Nobody bats an eye here in Maryland. Nobody bats an eye in New York. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that I don't have representation. So when they go and talk these talking points, they never say that if somebody is liberal, they never say those people are the actual Democrats. They never say that. They just say that this court, and then they're liking it to Trump, and people don't go and research that this is not a part of the Republican Party. It's not even, they're not even people who are independent. They're not conservatives. It's always the liberal ones. And when they talk about it, they make sure that they leave out those type of components, because they don't want you to understand that this came from liberals, because they want you to think that all liberals are on the same side, just like they want you to think that Black people are all the monolith.
No, you're absolutely right. In Maryland, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Maryland's 35% Republican, but out of the 9 seats, there's only 1 Republican seat. And if they could get their way, they wanted to, let me tell you how crazy they are. The Eastern Shore, if you guys know anything about Maryland, the Eastern Shore has a district, and it is the Republican district. It runs pretty much up towards like northern Maryland. They wanted to take that district and cross the bay and run it into Anne Arundel and PG County so they could just wipe out the 1 seat that was there. That's how crazy they are.
Yeah, they did it. They did it before. They used the Voting Rights Act to do that in Maryland with the big Black district that they have now that runs from Baltimore County all the way down through Anne Arundel. Like it's like a one big district, and it's just like what happens all the way up there doesn't even matter down here.
Yeah.
So it's like, how did you get that? So when I saw Louisiana, I said, makes sense. That's what they do. 250 miles. How?
Yeah. Run a district from New Orleans to Shreveport, the entire length of the state.
It's just like a car ride. You just pick up Black people along the way.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I don't like the way this gerrymandering and the John Lewis Act and the redistricting is all being positioned. The narrative that is coming out about this. It's why is no one standing in front of the white liberal? White liberal, this is your moment. Apparently, no one cares that you're being disenfranchised. If in fact they are gerrymandering districts so that they are no longer getting Democrat representation, we know that the Democrat Party is majority white. It just is. Out of the 6 Democrats that there are, 5 of them are white. Why is no one going to the white liberal church and speaking to white liberals and demanding that it's time for them to protest and put their bodies on the line and do all of that? If this is actually true, the most affected person would be the white liberal. Yet no one is talking to them. They are not the face of anything. They're not getting the Holy Ghost inside of churches. They don't have afros. Nobody's got an afro. AOC isn't coming to fake an accent in front of them where she can't even describe not only the faith she has now, she couldn't really accurately describe the faith she came up with. She had no name for it. No, none of this is happening. Why are white liberals able to hide? And this has been my point for some time now. Stop making Black people the face of your agenda. The fact of the matter is, if what you say is happening, and I dispute it, But if what you say is happening, if this Supreme Court ruling is going to disenfranchise voters, what voters are being disenfranchised? Democrat voters, not Black voters. And that is what they're doing. They keep telling you that this is a problem of Black voters. All voters need to care about this issue. Wait a second. Nobody ever thought it was about the Black vote. The Black people are a minority. I don't know if you all know this. Black people are a minority in this country. If there is some disenfranchisement going on, why are not white liberals concerned that their vote is not going to matter? It tells me that this thing is a lie and it is untrue, because the people who are most affected, according to them, somehow are most unconcerned. So if the people who are most affected are unconcerned, why should Black people get all exercised and excited and start jumping and bucking about? I say sit down and relax. Apparently, it's not a problem. If it were a problem of Black liberals, if this were a problem for you, then you would know this by the fact that white liberals would be upset about it. And the fact that they're not suggests that this is all just a lie. So why we're getting all up in arms now about these gerrymandered districts, most of them mirror the same type of living conditions and quality of life as Memphis. So there is never a discussion about the quality of life or the standard of living for Black people. There is only a discussion about the vote that or the power that Black people can give to others. Black people, wake up.
I would love to see somebody put together a YouTube channel that just specializes in featuring all of the comments that these leftist Democrats have made over the years. I mean, just a one-stop shop. We can go to find all the crazy stuff that they've said, because what we're dealing with is a conflict between decent people and twisted people. There are a lot of twisted people out there in the Democratic Party that's just destroying our nation with crazy thinking and crazy actions. Democratic Party, as we have been pointing out here on A Righteous Perspective, have been they're distressed over the fact that they've lost their power. And that power that they have lost has prevented them from covering all of the corruption that they have been perpetrating. And that is devastating them, because that has exposed them as the demons that they are to the public, and their credibility is shot. And so now they're desperately trying to do anything they can to regain that power by any means necessary. And we've exposed their money laundering. We've exposed their voter fraud. We've exposed the way they took money and sent it over to other countries for some crazy projects like homosexuality and grasshopper studies and condoms. And I mean, the crazy stuff they've been doing is being brought to the public now. So that makes them unacceptable to many normal Americans. And so they're going to do anything they can to cause problems. I'm just praying that we don't let them push us into some kind of civil war. We've got to shut down their talking points every time they open their mouth, including Jeffries, dead-eye, demonized Jeffries. We've got to shut them down when they make these comments. And I think that we need to have more of that going on, so that the public will not only be aware of what the damage that they've done in the past, but continually expose their rhetoric. Their rhetoric is actually affecting people who believe them. So that's where our battle is right now. Every time they make a statement about something that is not true, we've got to respond to it with such tenacity that they are no longer effective, because when they are no longer effective, real people won't listen to them anymore. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you look at Democrats that are currently running for office, there's no conversation around their policy. There's no conversation around their agenda. The only thing that you're going to get out of these people is, I'm running to stop Trump. Yep. Orange man bad. Trump's got to go. That's it. That's all they're running on.
I really want Black people, because when you see the decisions that you have made over and over and over again, keep getting the same results, if not worse, when you put these people in power and they gentrify you out your own community, or you put them in power and your children can't read, or you put them in power and now you are homeless. Because Wesley Hunt said something, and I 100% agree with him. The soft bigotry of low expectations. That is why they keep doing what they do. That is what they keep. That is why they keep doing what they're doing. That's why they keep saying we need the John R. Lewis Advance Voters Right Act. They keep playing these things because they're like, listen, if we don't help y'all, then y'all will never be able to succeed. But I want y'all to understand, when they help you, they're helping you right off a cliff every single time. They're helping you right off of a cliff. So I want y'all to stop listening to these traits. The reason why I call him Spirit Airlines Obama is because he wants to be like Obama. And you see, Obama was the definition of the snake in the garden.
Exposed.
And we all chose that because it sounded real good. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. It sounded real good. Black people were like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have somebody that looks like us in the office. Everybody was excited. And just like the Adam and Eve,
that's right.
Just like the children of Israel, they didn't need a king, but everybody else had it, so they wanted it. God gave them what they wanted. God gave us what we wanted. And we got Obama. And once we got Obama, everything went downhill. I don't care what anybody says. I am 45, turning 46 this year. Prior to Obama, we weren't living like this. We were not living like this. The strained race relations, absolutely not. My goodness.
Nope.
Obama brought all of this in.
That's right.
And Hakeem, who's just like that Spirit Airlines Obama. The thing is, Hakeem is not as smooth as how Obama was. Hakeem, he tries, but he's not there. So what it looks like is, if y'all ever read the book Rumpelstiltskin, he's like Rumpelstiltskin. He's like getting mad, jumping up and down, angry every time, having a hissy fit because no one is taking him the way they took Obama. This is why they keep leaning on Obama to come in and do all the talking, because they assume Obama still has that demonic spell over people. And for some, he does, because there's some people who look at him like he's the Messiah.
But he's being exposed
right now. God is exposing all of these people.
That's right.
And that is why they're spazzing out, they're crashing out, they're spinning out of control, because God is exposing every last one of them, because the church woke up and realized we didn't choose God. We chose what the world wanted. We went along with the world, and that is why we're dealing with what we're dealing with. But because now we woke up and we're praying and we are seeking him and not the government, not these people, not any of these things. He is coming in and he is exposing, and not just exposing and destroying them. God is removing people. I want y'all to be aware of that. So
I've been praying for that.
I appreciate what is happening. But again, I just want to point out, this started because we decided, especially Black people, that we wanted to accept soft bigotry in the form of low expectations. That's what we decided to accept.
Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link is in the description box below. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. In the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.